I finished Outland and thought I understood what Loremaster was. Portal problems, hundreds of quests, too much flying. I covered that in my previous video. Then I went to Northrend. This is Wrath of the Lich King, the expansion that introduced in-game cinematics to World of Warcraft, big lore revelations and the continuation of one of the most iconic characters in the entire franchise. Way before World of Warcraft even existed, there was Warcraft 3, a real-time strategy game where you follow the story of Prince Arthas Menethil, a paladin who fell from grace, became corrupted, killed his own father and eventually merged with the Lich King to become one of gaming's most tragic villains. His story is the foundation of this entire MMO. Without Warcraft 3, without Arthas, World of Warcraft doesn't exist. Wrath of the Lich King is where his story ends. Or so we thought, but that's a story for another video. So, Northrend. 8 zones, and this time I needed to complete all of them for Loremaster. So how do I start doing this? There's so much happening at the same time in this enormous continent. Revelations about the races of Azeroth, Titan cities that are prisons for all gods, the resting place of the dragons, the Radgate, trolls sacrificing their gods to survive the Scourge, and the Scourge itself, led by the Lich King. It is a lot. I did it though. I got the achievement, but the important thing about Northrend isn't how I got through it, it's what happened while I wasn't reading the quests. For example, I started in Borean Tundra, which just this one zone is bigger than every single zone I did in Outland. It felt massive, and I made a decision that seemed so cool at the time. I did all of this on a Death Knight. Death Knight was the class for this expansion. It seemed logical. They are knights, they are dead, they are built for the Lich King's armies. Except they have the worst mobility in the entire game. No speed boost, no instant mount, every quest that requires picking something up meant mount, right there, dismount, pick up the thing, move slowly, kill the enemies, and repeat. My druid, instant flight form, fly in, grab the quest item mid-air while doing a kickflip, fly out, and that's it. Done. I spent the entire Northrend journey missing my druid. So, if you're doing Loremaster, please do yourself a favor and pick a class with mobility. Druid, ideally. Don't be like me. So there I was, Borean Tundra, on a Death Knight, moving like a snail, and I find the druids for the ethical and humane treatment of animals. They are in here trying to stop Hemet Nessinwary. Yes, the same guy from Outland, from slaughtering the local wildlife. D.E.H.T.A or D.E.H.T.A has you sabotage Nessinwary's camp, free the animals he's trapped and disrupt his hunters. It's one of the few quest lines where you're actively opposing something morally questionable instead of just killing things for XP. And honestly, I'm Team D.E.H.T.A or D.E.H.T.A. Hemet Nessinwary is a sociopath. He's been doing this since the classic era in Stranglethorn Vale, where he had you kill every single animal in the zone for sport. Then Outland, and now in Northrend doing his biggest expedition ever. I swear that I'll find this guy and put a stop to it. I also helped Valiant keep defend against the Scourge, found out that King Varian Ruin had returned, and I met Thasarian, a Death Knight trying to break free from the Lich King's control. Heavy stuff. But none of that matters, because while I was focused on my Hemet Nessinwary moral hunt and helping people here and there, something bigger was happening. The dragons were at war with each other. I mean Koldarra helping wizards fight a dragon who thinks mortals shouldn't have magic anymore. His name is Malygos, and he's the leader of the Blue Dragonflight. And he's decided that after 10,000 years of mortals using magic, enough is enough. Time to take it all back. The Queen of Dragons is helping mortals stop him, so dragons are fighting dragons while I'm collecting quest items on a Death Knight. God, I'd miss my druid. This made me wonder, where are all the other dragons? The Lich King is right there in Icecrown, the Scourge is everywhere, the world is ending, so where's the rest of the Dragonflight? And why aren't they fighting back? I eventually found them, falling apart, broken, dying in the biggest graveyard that's ever existed. Dragon bones everywhere. Wyrmrest Temple in the center, where the flights are supposed to meet, only that they are not meeting, they are collapsing. This place is also where the Radgate happened, by the way, which, that cinematic, that was the best moment of this expansion, really. But the Blue Dragonflight is at war with mortals. The green dragonflight is corrupted by something called the Emerald Nightmare. The black dragonflight's leader Deathwing betrayed everyone thousands of years ago, so they are barely a flight anymore. And the bronze dragonflight is having time travel problems. But this one was actually fun. I did a quest where I played alongside a past version of myself. Yes, I played with myself, okay? Grow up. And the dragons aren't the only ones losing everything in Northrend. Up in Soldrak, the Drakari trolls got so desperate fighting the Scourge that they started killing their own gods. Someone once said, God is dead and we have killed them. That wasn't Nietzsche, it was the Drakari. Because they actually did it. It is one of the darkest stories in the game, especially because it wasn't enough to save them. But hey, at least the dragons survived, and that's where Northrend is different. None of this is just war or Arthas. Northrend is where some of the biggest planet's secrets are buried. The makers of life, the Titans, were here, and they left behind vaults, archives, entire cities built just to answer questions like, I don't know, why are we all made of meat? Turns out we weren't supposed to be. We were stone constructs who got corrupted by the course of flesh. And it wasn't an accident. This entire continent is a prison built to hold one of the old gods, Yogg-Saron. Entropy with a heartbeat. Ulduar was meant to contain him. Instead, it shows you what happens when something that should never wake starts to open its eyes. His corruption spreads through the earth itself, through the minds of everyone who gets too close, through the roots of the trees. And I have to do like 100 quests more with my slow-ass Dead Knight. The druids tried to create hope once, plant a seed of the world tree to heal the land. They didn't know they were building it on top of an old god's prison, so the roots tapped into it and the tree spread corruption instead of life, so they had to destroy their own creation. Nothing is safe, not even attempts at hope. My hunt for Hemet Nessingwary continued and it led me to somewhere different. A tropical rainforest surrounded by ice and mountain. The Titans built this place too, not surprising because nothing is real anymore apparently. A secret and protected ecosystem where the Titans experimented with life and evolution. Proto-drakes flying overhead, dinosaurs, mammoths, gorloks, wolverines, Mario, Luigi. Creatures that don't exist anywhere else, all living together. And how is this maintained? Well, machines are keeping it alive. There are pylons maintaining the temperature, the ecosystem, everything. Turn them off and the jungle dies. The Titans treated life like an experiment you can pause. And that's where I found him. In the middle of this cradle of life. Hemet Nessingwary. Killing everything rare for sport. Again. I wanted to stop him, but he had quests and I did them. Because that's what you do for Loremaster. You do the quests. Even when they make you hunt endangered species in a sanctuary built by gods to protect ancient life. And although I couldn't stop Hemet, there was still the Lich King, sitting in Icecrown citadel at the center of the continent. The whole expansion builds towards it. I met this child there, Matthias Lehner. He kept following me around asking questions. About morality, about whether someone who's done terrible things can ever be redeemed, whether a hero who becomes a monster can ever be saved. Eventually he reveals the truth. He's the last piece of Arthas' humanity. Shockers! The part of him that still feels guilt, regret, compassion. When Arthas became the Lich King, he cast this part of himself out, rejected his own conscience and chose to be a monster. Matthias dies because of it. We think we defeat Arthas in Icecrown Citadel, but it was part of his plan. Kill the world's greatest heroes and raise them as his ultimate undead army. His plan fails at the end. Arthas falls, but someone has to control the Scourge. They can't be leaderless. So, Bolvar for Dragon, one of the Alliance's greatest heroes, burned at the Rat Gate, tortured by the Lich King and barely alive, takes the throne and becomes the new Lich King. For real people, go watch the Rat Gate cinematic. It changed everything. At the end, a hero sacrifices himself to contain the threat, because there must always be a Lich King. You defeat the villain and nothing changes. The cycle continues. And here's what Northrend really showed me. This world is bigger than we thought. It shows us that everything we thought we understood was actually just a fragment. The Titans weren't gods, they were engineers, architects, gardeners. The old gods weren't just monsters, they were the reminder that everything ends. This expansion wasn't just about Arthas being evil, it was about the idea that no matter how much we build, create, or love, entropy is patient. Northrend's message is simple. Everything dies, even gods, even heroes. And that's when I got the Loremaster achievement, which is kind of the point too. The world is cruel, cold, unfair, and you just have to keep going anyway. There's always more zones to visit, more lore to learn, and more NPCs to meet. But whatever, we've already been through the worst of it. I think.